What up, peeps? It's your boy Heckin Steve. Welcome back to the channel, and today I want to talk about the differences in retail and resale. I get a lot of comments saying, Steve, if you don't like resellers, you shouldn't buy from Walmart, Amazon, Target, or Best Buy because they resell too. Well, anyone with basic brain knowledge would know that they are completely different, and I'm going to go over some of those differences today to help educate the masses. First of all, retail is regulated and held to a certain standard by the Federal Trade Commission. Now, they're not perfect by any means, but they do help prevent fraud and scams from happening in the retail setting. Whereas with a reseller, you're pretty much at the graces of whatever they dictate. Also, before I get too far into this, I just want to clarify that not all resellers are bad and not all this stuff applies to every reseller. Second of all, retail pays taxes. Last year alone, Amazon paid almost $3 billion in tax dollars, as opposed to resellers. Not all of them necessarily would pay taxes on the transactions that they commit, at least not 100%. Next up, retail provides jobs and helps the economy. People get places to work, as opposed to like a reseller, unless you're like semi-big time, like Caleb and Chase, you don't really have employees. You just kind of do it all on your own. Whereas a retail store can, manage up to 300 employees, depending on the size of the retail store. Also, working in retail provides benefits to workers, such as health insurance and 401k, whereas resellers don't get any of that because they're basically just buying stuff and flipping it. It's not an actual job. Retail has a public storefront where retail associates can assist and educate clients on making better purchasing decisions. For example, I used to be a computer sales representative at Best Buy, and I would prevent people from buying a $2,000 computer when all they want to do is browse the web. Just get them a little $500 tablet or maybe a $200 tablet. It's all situational based, but either way, you won't really get that with a reseller. I mean, yeah, you could ask a couple of general questions about a product that you're interested in buying, but they're not going to sit there and teach you how to use it. Next up, retail sources directly from manufacturers, distributors, and licensed wholesalers. So this is all legitimately done with manufacturers, and then in turn they end up selling things typically for manufacturer suggested retail price, or you may know it by the term MSRP. Also, retail has an inventory system where most resellers do not. There is one reseller that I buy from a lot, and he uses a spreadsheet to keep up with everything he has, and I absolutely love it because then I don't have to bug him all the time and ask him if he has something. I can just look on his spreadsheet and that'd be it. Another big one is retail doesn't tell you how much they buy their items for on YouTube. So they buy from distributors. They typically will buy like thousands of items at one time at a set low cost. Because of how much they buy, they're able to, get an extreme discount on it. So it's generally accepted that retailers sell items to customers for a profit. Whereas when you watch Collector's Luck, you can see exactly how much he pays for it, and then he tells you exactly how much he's going to sell it for. So that can kind of, cause some butthurtedness. Next up, retail. Everyone pays the same price on a weekly basis, whereas reseller pricing can change at any time. So, sales happen from Sunday through Monday typically with retail stores, and the prices don't change until, the next week. Whereas with a reseller, they could change it instantly. Retail also has return and exchange policies. Now, I know when you buy off of eBay, you do have a certain leeway there depending on what the seller sets, and most people don't read to see before they buy. But if you buy from Walmart, you have typically 30 days to return or exchange it depending on the situation. But it is a lot more convenient to do it at a retail store as opposed to having to ship it back to Delmar down in Detroit or something. Here's a big one here. Retail helps the local community find and buy items. Because of retail stores, we're able to access toilet paper, milk, bananas, bread, whatever your household may need. And, or like a TV or something, you can go buy a TV. Whereas resellers typically remove items from local communities to sell online to someone somewhere else because they'll find it at a yard sale and then they buy it and then they're going to list it online and then anyone in the world can pretty much buy it. So, and lastly, a retail establishment is generally more safe and trustworthy to purchase from than a reseller or just a random guy on Facebook Marketplace. Now, I do understand you can build like kind of a rapport with a reseller and, kind of gain some trust with them. However, I mean, most people can kind of trust a Target or something, because, they've been in business for so long. They're established. They're backed by, tons of money and investors. So, I mean, there's a huge difference there. Whereas, like with a reseller, you may meet somebody in the parking lot and get mugged, robbed, scammed, all of that. I mean, and it's not very common anymore, but it still can happen. It's definitely going to happen more often with a stranger in a parking lot than it would with Tammy running the register down at Kmart. They've been closed forever, but you know what I mean. And guys, that's all I have for this. I mean, there's a huge difference. Hopefully it made some sense. If not, I'm sorry. The people that really need to watch this video probably won't watch it anyways. But that's okay. As long as I put it out there for people to see, then it is what it is. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.